All right, I'll hand it over to Nightwing. I haven't seen him on commentary, so here he is.
Sorry. That's all right. Yeah, I had a stuff before. So. You want this? I didn't bring it.
All right, sorry about that, guys. It's Grand Finals, and I am here with Big Rig.
Yes.
Tell me what is going through your head right now, Big Rig.
Well, I didn't get to see the winners final set, so I don't know how that went or even what the set count was.
So it was actually 3-0 in favor of Dan and Nite.
Right.
In every game, it seemed really like Marshall and Z2G had the advantage early, and then Dan and Nite just realized that they were good at this game and just took back the center of the stage and just kept the pressure on.
Well, maybe they just decided to stop going aggressive or something, because I know that that Nite is so good. His Rosalina Loom is so good when he just decides to just calm down, stop, and then space himself perfectly, and he just becomes like an enigma that cannot be touched.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's ridiculous.
He's so good at
immediately
Omni Slash.
All right, well, good start already for our Wisconsin homies.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. You got to get your kill options early, and you got to have them guaranteed whenever you can get them.
Right.
And this is actually, we only saw Diddy and Lucario from these guys in winners finals.
Really?
So
yeah.
I'm assuming that maybe that was either because they wanted to kind of feel out what kind of strategy Dan and I were going to be using today, and then like react to it in grand finals because they just expected to be here.
I mean, I think they were just trying to go with their bread and butter and then switching depending on what they saw. So I think that they were going to go with. I think it's more of them just being stubborn with their one sort of mains, as opposed to like. I think they should have switched to this team a lot earlier in the winners final set.
If they absolutely agree with that.
You know, if it went as you said it did.
It was. I mean, like I said, it was never truly one-sided. Like it was always close, but it never seemed like Dan and Nite ever lost the edge. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so in this one, again, Rosalina still hasn't lost her first stock, and Marshall and Xander's. They're climbing up in percent, and they can't really have that happen right now. They need to be able to get these kills early when they got it, like 120, 115. You have to kind of take these and get them earlier because both these characters kill really well.
I will say something about these two. It's specifically Dan. It's not that hard to get Dan to past 100. It's just hard to get the final hit on.
Right.
And especially when you have Nite protecting you, it just it becomes a cluster. And for somehow it's like like in the cartoons where they don't actually animate like a whole cluster of people fighting and punches and fists come out. It seems like Dan and Nite get themselves in that situation a lot, but they always come out the victorious.
Just like when
you see
like the dust cloud and then you see like an arm pop out.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do feel like these guys kind of play. Like it always seems, and I think that's because they have supreme knowledge of where each other is going to DI, where they're going to be. Like these guys are like the most static of teams.
Yeah.
I would probably say like in the entire country, probably one of the most static teams. These guys always team together.
The way that they ping-pong people in the 2v1 situation, like we're going to see right here. Oh, well, Marshall was able to escape that.
I mean, that's Bayonetta's specialty is being able to slightly escape things. But above Rosalina, like you don't ever want to be above really anybody in this game. But above Rosalina especially is not a good position.
And I just saw something. Marshall went for the dive kick, and he had him in the up B string, but Luma saved Nite out of it, which is absolutely ridiculous. So the matchup with Rosalina and opted to go for Luma there.
Kill, at least.
Ooh. Now, if Rosalina and Luma can truly break out of that sort of thing with Luma hitting them out, that's absolutely ridiculous for the matchup.
And they were
which time?
Doesn't matter though, because all that Nite is going to do is just run up and up smash.
Exactly.
And the meaty part of that was her forehead, and that's caught Marshall. Great witch time to try to, but he didn't get both.
Yeah, it was a good idea. It's just both of those two characters have some of the best and quickest up smashes in the game. So it's ridiculous that they can just run in and punish whenever they want like that.
So now it is 4 games in a row that Marshall and Z2G have lost to Dan and Nite, 3 in winners finals, and now 1 here in grand finals. What do you think that they can do to try and turn this around?
They started out so good. As you were saying, if this game seems to be an indicator of what happened in winners finals. Xander had that early cross slash. They had the stock lead. I think they just need to figure out how to team up against Nite specifically, because he likes to run into his little hidey hole and then just have Dan run around and
that's actually a really good point. Like when you say hidey hole, he doesn't necessarily play, like he doesn't camp, but he always seems to be moving away from the action until it calls for him. And until that moment comes, he just throws up the wall.
That's exactly what goes on in pretty much all these games. But,
And another thing to bring up, as you said, like they need to figure out how to team up on Nite specifically, and that involves getting Dan away from you for short amounts of time. It seemed like, both these teams are very static. Marshall and Xander, Dan and Nite always team together, it seems. However, every time that Marshall and Xander try and get something going, it seems like Dan and Nite are always there to interrupt it. Like they're always right on their partner's back. They can't seem to get anything sort of going, and that's really preventing them from getting any sort of momentum.
And one of the things is with their spacing, they just never miss their attacks. It's ridiculous. Like they'll always be hitting a character or a shield. Like they never just except for when they're just throwing things out to space. It seems like when they're trying to follow up from just a baby little wimpy hit.
Oh, and a good stage spike there from Marshall.
That was well done. No tech from Dan, but I don't think that was untackable by any means. It was just unexpected.
Yeah, I don't think he expected Marshall to be able to hit him in that exact moment because he wasn't. Marshall did not seem like he was in position to make that happen.
But going back to like the Dan Knight ping pong sort of theorem, it doesn't matter like how small the hit. Oh, yeah, all right.
I wouldn't chalk it up as a Marshall stock, but he just knew that he needed a little bit more height.
He was in a bad position. He was in a bad position to be able to recover from that. I don't know if he would have released right beforehand, if he even would have been able to grab ledge.
Right, let's finish ping pong, Dan Knight.
Right.
Finish that thought.
So most people, it's like, they have their set big hits for baby developing teams. They have their big hits like, all right, if you grab him, then grab release and the up smash. They have we can just fair and the up tilt and the fair. It's the little baby moves that rack up damage that play to their advantage.
And Z2G just got forward tilted right into the kill switch from Mario.
Exactly. It's those tiny little moves that don't have much knockback that they're able to read off each other that a lot of teams aren't able to do.
Yeah, it's one thing to have team synergy by being able to call out like throw directions and stuff like that.
Right.
These guys, though they tend to talk, a good amount, they don't necessarily need to. Like they just seem to know.
Exactly.
And that comes from knowing when your partner is going to do certain things. And these guys, being teammates for so long, just have that. And I'm not to say that Xander or Z2G and Marshall can't do that. They're just not.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's because of the suffocating presence of this Rosalina.
That, and I don't know, it might also have to do with how often they switch their character, because to have knowledge of each other's character on such a high level of just knowing the trajectories, I think it really comes with having the same two static characters as well as your partner,
and that's kind of a big debate here in the game. Like, as we see Dan and Knight, always Rosalina, always Mario.
Yeah.
We almost never see them deviate from that combo. Marshall and Z2G, however, Z2G 4 mains. Marshall can pull out Bayonetta, can pull out Diddy, can pull out Cloud himself. It brings up the question, what is more important, having that static team play or the ability to counterpick when you're in a bad situation? Like both of those things are really important, and they're skills in their own right. But as it seems right now, just that ultra knowledge of each other's characters is really paying off for Dan and Knight. So I
think it's always very dangerous, you should pretty much always know what you're going in with from your first game. I think people are too quick to switch to their, a different character mid-set, unless it went really, really poorly. But there you saw, once again, with the 2v1 situation, there was a clear, easy 3-stock, just with a little grab, release, up smash.
And that's unfortunately where they found themselves, is that they've been at the tail end of a 2v, at the bad end of a 2v1 every time. And, losing mentally right now, where do you got to think that they're at? I mean, I know Z2G is almost always rock solid, but even he is looking like, what can we do against these guys?
Well, they switched back to their bread and butter combo right there. Good old Lucario and Diddy. So I think it's a good idea to keep Marshall as Diddy. I don't know exactly what we want from Xander specifically. Definitely not me Gunner. His Me Gunner is actually, we laugh when we say Me Gunner. No, it's
good.
good.
His Me Gunner is seriously good. But in this particular situation, Rosalina is going, his biggest strength is his ability to just out zone everyone.
Right.
And Rosalina just absolutely destroys that. Luma can get in and around zones, and then gravitational pull pulls everything that's dangerous away.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, I think this is a good character. This is the best that you're going to get. There's nothing that is necessarily going to be better than this. Your two mains, you have Lucario shenanigans with his aura, with him being, up and down stocks. So really, I have to imagine that.
Oh, wow!
If they're going to win any games, it's going to be with this team.
Here's the thing. I think this team synergy is so good because Dan is so good at low percents, and then Knight is just good at not taking damage. We saw
and he's good at high percents. Like we mentioned earlier, like you mentioned earlier, he goes into his hidey hole. He
Exactly.
always seems to be perfectly spaced to not get hit by stuff at
Uh-huh.
high percent.
he's a slippery little son of a gun.
Slippery
I'll
is a
say
good
that.
word for
I'll
it.
say that. Ooh.
Unfortunately,
Xander came in with a double kill right there. But
Yeah.
he hasn't lost the stock himself, so
No, but it is still 4-5, and Lucario at high percent is dangerous, but
With
also
Aura.
is about to be killed, right?
nope.
No,
He was
okay.
mid-stage, and this is Duck Hunt, son. 165 is not going to do it. Oh, that was a good spot dodge
I
situation.
expected a follow-up from Dan, but Marshall did a good job preventing that follow-up
right.
from the throw.
Right. Well, I think Xander should be going against Nite, and Marshall should be going against the Mario.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that because as we saw in winners finals, Dan absolutely, like, once he got the inside of the stage on Lucario, just absolutely boxed him out. Like, Shaq in the lane, like, just boxed him out, prevented him from landing, preventing him from getting back on stage. It was just really, really difficult to watch him just struggle so hard. And in a matchup that he normally wouldn't, Dan and just the human highlight reel sometimes.
Yeah. I will say, going back to that sort of thing, they are really good once they have stage control. They know how to capitalize on that. They know how to space each other out well so that pretty much if both team members are off stage, and with the exception of certain characters, there's not a good chance that at least one of you is coming back.
And actually, to go along with that, not
Ooh,
only
that was a
when
cluster.
they do have stage control, but when they don't, they are like just absolute professionals at gaining it back. Like, they impose their will on people that try and keep stage control
Right.
from them.
Well, here we are at 1 stock to 4. Things are not looking so great for our hero of Wisconsin.
Yeah, the last man standing is a monkey.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, I'm thinking that it's going to be a quick 3-0 here.
and a handshake. There it is.
And Dunk City, as I said in my article for Bot Empire, Dan loves